This MLB betting preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100x in NBA, NHL, college basketball, and more. Sign up today using promo code SGPN to get a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Hey, this is John Smoltz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Should have brought a bag of popcorn. Best part about baseball is throwing the shells on the ground.
Popcorn? You mean peanuts?
Sorry, peanuts.
Yeah,
popcorn too, but peanuts.
Peanuts are the I would say #1 ballpark food.
Hot dog, beer.
Beer, yeah, it's more of a drink, but I would
at LA Dodger Stadium, maybe some sushi.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe a bowl of pokey.
As far as Dodger Stadium, I think their garlic fries might actually be their best item. The Dodger dog to me is kind of disappointing. But yeah, the peanuts, the beer, throwing the peanuts on the ground. I mean, it's take me out to the ball game. Right?
I would say 100% agree that the Dodger dog is just a longer dog, and there's nothing special about it. It's not like one of these fancy like Chicago dogs with fixins on top.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like it's always not cooked right. I love hot dogs, but I feel like at Dodger Stadium in particular, they don't know how to cook them. They fuck them all up.
It's the bun. It sits in that foil, gets all soaked up with.
You don't
moisture.
Want a soppy bun. You want a nice like crisp bun. Throw it on the grill.
Maybe
there.
A pretzel bun. Maybe
pretzel bun would be awesome.
Get a little crazy.
Maybe we can talk to the little C's. Get a pretzel crust bun sent over to Dodger Stadium. Ryan, get that completely solved over there.
Or figure out a way to make the garlic fries a bun. Get the hot dog, the garlic fries, all into the same thing.
Yeah, I
agree with you. The best food item at Dodger Stadium is the garlic fries.
100% the garlic fries. Ryan, we're here to talk MLB betting preview, kind of a showcase, honestly, for the MLB betting podcast.
I fought hard.
Gambling podcast.
I fought hard to do this 2 months from now. Thought it'd be a more appropriate time to break down the baseball season. Baseball Sean rose up and said, "No, we must cover baseball now."
We are, because opening day is gonna happen on Thursday. And if you haven't signed up already over on cut.com, what are you waiting for? KUTT.com. Use the promo code SGPN. Get a 10% deposit bonus. It's the ultimate put your money where your mouth is platform. Great for chopping it up on Discord. I know our guests, one likes the Detroit Tigers under, one likes the Detroit Tigers over. Settle it like men on Cut. It's like sports gambling sports gambling, but it's dueling, right? You just go head to head. So fun to get down on all the action. Custom bets. We got the Will John Calipari be fired bet listed. UFL, aka USFL XFL merging. That league's coming back. You're going to be able to bet on that over on Cut. So much action. Download the Cut app or just head to KUTT.com. Promo code SGPN. You owe it to yourself, especially for the limited vig is just is so huge. Use that promo code SGPN, get the 10% deposit bonus. Joining us from the MLB Gambling Podcast, we got Munaf, the Machine Manji, and Malcolm Bamford himself. Munaf, how we doing, man? How do you feel about baseball this year?
I'm excited, man. America's Real Sport is starting on Thursday. You guys just gave me a great idea. Maybe we should do like a stadium tour and just start ranking the best foods around the stadium.
Oh,
on the company dime, of course. Maybe.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Bring over Malcolm. Me and Malcolm could do like a little road trip and rank the foods. Maybe by day 15, one of us will be dead. But here we are.
I will say, Sean, Malcolm and Munaf in a convert. I'm thinking like the Guy Fieri show, but it's Malcolm and Munaf in the convertible.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Just cruising through the countryside,
eating a bunch of this ballpark food.
Well, do you remember when we first met Malcolm in person? What he told us about the plane ride as he crossed the United States? He was geeked out to see all these minor league towns as he came in and crossed to the West Coast in beautiful Las Vegas. So that would be a good show. We have to maybe think about that.
Joining us across the pond, you know him from the MLB Gambling Podcast, Mr. Malcolm Bamford. Malcolm, how's it going, man?
It is going very well, thank you. I am excited. I've got a declaration here. I'm going to declare. So I've only been following baseball since 2016. So I'm going into my 9th year. We're now going into the 4th year of the show. So I've almost been allowed to learn on the job. So by the good grace of Sean and Ryan, I've been allowed to do this on the job. Munaf's had the patience of angels with me for 4 years. And more than anyone else, the listeners have allowed me to do this silliness as well. All of this is built up to this moment because right now I am fully prepared for this season. Now we're ready to go. This is it. Honestly, I'm absolutely armed to the teeth with the necessary information to have the most memorable season ever. So yeah, I'm absolutely ready to go, Sean.
I love this. I love the hype. I love the energy. Malcolm, how have we not? We got Munaf the Machine Manji. Do we not have we got to, and this is, I'm tasking the MLB Gambling Podcast listeners, the crew, we have to get Malcolm a gambling nickname. Malcolm, how do you not have Malcolm the Mate? I don't know. What's a very Kramer? What's a good gambling?
I don't want taking a bath is generally a negative term, so I don't want Malcolm to be Malcolm taking a bath.
Malcolm the Bath Bamford. Well, maybe that works. Malcolm the Bath Bamford going against him. You better off. You're gonna be taking a bath, and maybe you can include that in your cut profile. If people want to go head to head on you. Gonna be like, you're the one taking the bath, and I'm gonna be celebrating by taking a bath. Yes. If you don't know Malcolm, he likes to enjoy a nice leisurely bath and watch 3 hours of baseball. And baseball's already started. Again, shout out to the MLB doing everything they can to reduce viewership. Did a game that counts, 3 games that counts in Korea, South Korea during March Madness. The game started, I think, at 3 a.m. West Coast time between the Padres and the Dodgers. Any early takeaways from the early look to the season, Malcolm?
I loved it because for the first time I was ahead of the curve. I normally have to catch up on everything over breakfast, but this time I got to sit and watch it live, and I got the day baseball experience. And honestly, for those 2 days, it changed my life. It was brilliant. I was so jealous again of what American baseball fans get to experience every day, except everyone else is just going about their normal life, and you get to watch or listen to baseball with a bet on. I absolutely loved it. No takeaways from the games. There was a freak glove malfunction that won game 1, and then the second game, I think they changed the balls because nothing much happened in the first game, and they didn't want a consecutive dud, so I think they got the rabbit balls out for game 2, and it finished 15-11. But it was good, and it was a nice little aperitif for this week's proper opening day.
Love it. This is
the early
only
conspiracy theory. I like that.
This is the only baseball gambling show where you'll see someone use aperitif in their handicapping. That's all. That's the other stuff you only get from Malcolm. Now kicking over to you, Munaf. Former Los Angeles Angel, current Los Angeles Dodger, Shohei Ohtani. Little bit of a hot water. Shout out to our buddy Shohei out there in the gambling streets. Apparently not.
Oh, it sounds like he needs some help. He should listen to the show.
Or just the greatest friend of all time. I mean, I remember when I was down $4.5 million, Ryan said, I can help you out, but I'm just going to wire it directly from my account. It's not going to go. I don't trust to give it to you, to give it to the bookie, because you're just going to gamble it away more.
It is somewhat reasonable that if the problem was so bad, I was going to go direct to you, but
that part's reasonable. But the fact that the guy just pays off $4.5 million, I mean, is he hiring? I can learn Japanese if it means you're willing to pay off my $4.5 million. Like I'll freestyle it for the first couple of weeks. I'll be books on tape, whatever it takes. If you're paying off your employees $4.5 million gambling debts, God bless you. Munaf, I know it's tough. We're taping this before he's going to read his prepared statement. Also, always a red flag when you're going prepared statement. I saw someone tweeted out, "I did not have gambling relations with that man." Call back to an old.
That's almost too old. Like kids have no idea what you're talking about.
Malcolm gets it. So he's probably our target demo here. Munaf, what do you think if anything happens? Like Ryan, when we were talking about this, Ryan initially said, "Oh, he's going to be banned for life."
That's not what I said. I said Pete Rose is banned for life.
Right, but
Yes.
you said Shohei.
But
Shohei could be banned.
This feels like it's potential.
I think he is going to make the Major League Baseball so much money. They're going to do everything in their possibility to cover it up, unless they can have concrete evidence he was betting against his team or doing something in that realm. I don't think he actually suffers any punishment. How say you? Do you think he even gets suspended, Munaf?
I think it's a sticky situation. Like we don't know. I think it's what you mentioned, right? Like, I mean, you have a global. It's not even like American. It's a global superstar.
Yeah,
that is bringing in so much money for the for Major League Baseball. Like we haven't seen this type of player since what, Babe Ruth. I mean, a guy that can pitch and hit. He's already won multiple MVPs. I think that they're just going to throw the interpreter under the table or under the bus. And, you know, maybe he gets some type of fine or he gets some type of suspension, and it's all put another
for helping his friend. I mean, that's the other thing. The problem was they didn't get their story straight from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you know, at first it was like, hey, he was helping a buddy. And then it turned into
it turned into flat out like I'm just paying off this loan.
Yeah,
I'm just being a good friend.
Yeah, and then it was no, we need to contact law enforcement because he stole this money. But meanwhile, they were seen in Korea like hanging out, laughing together. Like, I mean, if you stole $4.5 million from me, Munaf, there would not be video of us palling around.
Oh no, there might be a different type of circumstances at that point. Yeah, I mean, like you're like at the end of the day, when we talk about NFL, we talk about NBA, MLB, it's always about the bottom line. It's always about the bottom dollar. And like, again, like you mentioned, that Ohtani is bringing in so much money that they're going to find ways to kind of put this under the rug, and we're all going to move on. We're going to forget about it after 2 weeks after the season starts with this whole Ohtani deal. Because right now, I think the timing is interesting that he's reading this statement right Tuesday, a couple of days before opening day. And then, hey, baseball starting and all this other stuff is going on to distract what's happening actually on the field. And we forget about what Ohtani and his interpreter, you know, whatever the case might be. So I just think it'll be put under the rug and we'll be moving on with our lives.
I mean, my first thought when the news came out was, wow, if you wanted to bury something, you might break it on the opening week or the opening round of March Madness.
Yeah.
And so the timing of the news coming out in general makes me think they're already getting ahead of it. Like you said, Sean, and they're trying to make sure this has as little impact as possible. Unfortunately, all it takes is a couple sticky journalists who have their, you know, they have some sort of knot in their ass about gambling because it impacted them in a negative way. And then they're going to go after this hard because the obvious version is that Shohei is a fucking degen. He's loaded like a motherfucker, and he likes to get down. He likes action.
Yeah.
And Sean, imagine you had millions and millions of dollars. How much do you think you would have to bet on a game to get the same burn?
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. Like if you're making,
I'm thinking about me. I'd have to probably increase my bets. I mean, I would probably be betting 50 grand a game to 100 grand a game. Like that would have to be the minimum stakes. Otherwise, what are you doing? So this is very believable. And the real story is it's going to happen again, because if Shohei really is the guy with the enjoyment of gambling, he's not going to stop with this interpreter.
He's going to find a new interpreter. Again, Shohei, I am available. I will learn
Yeah.
Japanese. Let me just whatever it takes. We're gonna get this.
Everyone
done, Shohei.
assumed it was a language interpreter. It's a bet interpreter. Shohei just says, "Go get me some action," and he goes and collects the bets.
What's a 4-team teaser? And then he translates for him. I like that. All right, we're actually gonna get to some picks. Before we do that, of course, shout out to Game Time. Opening day right around the corner. I'm pulling up Cardinals at Dodgers coming up here. If you're in the LA area, a bunch of great deals, the flash deals flying all over. You don't. I mean, it's last minute, right? You're thinking, oh, hey, last minute, you're able to get off from work. Last minute, you decide to go check out opening day. No, it's really one of the all-time great American traditions. Head over to gametime.co, use the promo code SGPN, your go-to app for last minute tickets. They got you covered. And yeah, it's really easy to do. Again, highly recommend using the app so you can click on the flash deals, the zone deals. Like if you have a section you really like, they'll help you find the best price there. Again, makes it so easy buying MLB tickets, and the views from the seat are super important, especially when you're going to see baseball. All that you can get hooked up over on Game Time, and use the promo code SGPN to get $20 off. So go to gametime.co or download the Game Time app to get started today. Okay, AL East. We're going to go through AL East. We're going to go division by division, each of us giving out our favorite team to win the division and our best win total over under for that division. Course, AL East, start there. Last year, everyone thought I was crazy giving out the Baltimore Orioles.
Here we go.
That came through. You got the Yankees plus 185, Orioles plus 185, which, wow, what a difference a year makes.
What a time to be alive.
Blue Jays plus 400, Tampa Bay Rays plus 550, Red Sox 17-1. Malcolm, the Bath Bamford. We'll keep working it, see if it sticks. What do you like here in the AL East? I see you furiously finding your notes.
Can I update the nickname? The Bath Bambino.
Oh, we like that.
The Bath Bambino. The Bath Baller.
Bambino. Hello,
Bath
Bath
Baller?
Time Bamford. Bath Time Bamford does sound like someone.
Okay.
He sounds
Right,
like
so
someone who played for the 1908 Cincinnati Red Stockings.
Yeah, like
or
he was involved in the White Sox scandal.
The Black
and
Sox.
Bath Time Bamford was one of the players taking money and admitted to not playing up to his full potential in order to secure a win for the Mafia. All right, Bath Time Bamford, what do you got here in the AL East? What do we like? Why do we like it?
This is a good division. It's competitive. There's various opportunities. Baltimore, actually, talking about old teams, they had 18 win improvements in back-to-back years. First time anyone's done that since 1927. So they've come from absolutely nowhere, Baltimore, recently. But there's various different ways of handicapping. Some of these picks I've made on what I've seen. Some of the picks I've made on just purely the numbers. And this is a numbers play. This is a nerdy stats play because the lines are wrong. This is the one play where I think the bookies have got the numbers wrong. Stop laughing, Ryan. Because
it's the way you said nerdy. I was thinking about how you're like I was getting slightly aroused by the way that Malcolm was saying nerdy, and we need to have Malcolm read more stuff for us as a company. It's a linguistic specialist.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done. I'm done.
The Rays are too big. It's 7-1. The Yankees have got issues. Obviously, Garrett Cole's gone down the pan already. We won't see him until maybe late summer. I think Baltimore have peaked. Plus 175 is a bit short. Toronto Blue Jays are very, very live, but they're one of the teams I always get wrong. The struggle for MLB teams, and you must have that in NFL or basketball, whatever. There's teams you can't get right, so I have to leave the Blue Jays out. I think the Red Sox will be better than people expect. They're going to be my total play, actually. I think the Red Sox can go over their number. But for my divisional pick, the Rays, they're always there and thereabouts. They've just got this production line of guys. Someone gets down, gets injured, the next cab off the rank. They'll have pitching for days. They know what they're doing. And this division, because it's so tight, you could throw a blanket over all 5 teams, frankly. And when there's such little variance, the Tampa Bay Rays are going to be there because they're not going to stray far from what they've done for years and years and years. The Rays at 7-1, please. But I do think Boston can go over their total.
Munaf, a lot of people think, oh, hey, Houston based, you would be an Astros fan, but you're actually a bigger Red Sox fan. Munaf, what has happened to the Red Sox that their win total is only 77.5? They spend hundreds of millions of dollars. Why are they expected to have a 78 win season?
Well, I think Malcolm could attest to this because the owner of the Red Sox is now paying more attention to his football club in Liverpool and wanting to spend the money over there. Because he probably realized that he probably is going to get more money from Liverpool in the Premier League, but they're not spending the money anymore on this team, right? I mean, what, maybe like 5-6 years ago they were dishing out these huge contracts. They had to give out the money to Devers. And if they didn't give that money to him, the city of Boston would have rioted because they pretty much gave Mookie Betts away. That
was crazy.
Yeah, quarters on the dollar, right? And again, the players that they did get from Alex Verdugo now went over to the not crosstown rival, but he went to the rival now to the New York Yankees. I'm really down on this Red Sox team, and it starts with their pitching, right? I think that Brian Bella will take that next step, maybe trying to be that ace for this Red Sox team. But outside of that, this pitching rotation is just going to be so bad. I mean, Nick Pivetta is just going to be absolutely atrocious. You talk about Cutter Crawford. Okay, maybe he can take a step up, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to stay healthy. Gary Whitlock, Tanner Houck. I mean, these guys have been in the rotation for years now, and they just haven't been able to produce. I think the only good thing that the Red Sox really have going for them is their manager, Alex Cora, right? He's been able to take this shit roster actually produce wins. But I think when we talk about this division, how every other team in this division got better, there's one team that has to take that fall back, and I think it's going to be the Red Sox. And I think that you also took a look at spring training. Rafael Devers came out and said that he was kind of disappointed that this team didn't spend more money to improve this roster, especially on the pitching side. So I just don't think they're going to be very good pitching wise. They'll be able to score runs. This might be a team that you want to take a look at betting their game totals to go over. Because they'll score a lot of runs, so they'll give up a lot at the same time. But when you look at the season win total, one team in this division is going to be that taking that step back. It's going to be the Red Sox for me. I think they finish around 74 to 75 wins, getting under this win total of 77.5.
That is my goal for this episode, is to come away with a simple system to bet early baseball. Just have some daytime action.
Oh yeah,
some sort of simple system. I will say, if you want to have fun. Munaf touched on it, but talk to a Red Sox fan about their owner in soccer. I've heard so many people belly aching in the same way.
Where's Boston Capper? Where's Capper when we need him?
Like everyone is all of a sudden an expert in like the EPL now too, but they're just like, this fucking guy doesn't give a shit about baseball. It's beautiful to me. It reminds me of most of the time before the Pink Hats. See, the Pink Hats showed up, it generated all this revenue. They got crazy up there in Boston. They started pretending like they were a big boy club, and then now we're back to the way it should be. The Red Sox will suck for a long time. Not sorry, Munaf.
So Munaf, what do you officially like for your
fucking hate Liverpool, so you can have him back. We don't want him. Take him away.
Munaf, what do you like then play wise for the AL East?
Yeah, officially, I do. I love the Royals. I think it starts with the previous owner.
AL East.
I'm sorry, the AL East. I'm sorry. The Orioles. I like the over on their win total at 90.5. I think the numbers started to move a little bit as well. You take a look at their owner. He sold the team. I think it was just like over the summer or after the season was over. I want to say I did saw a story that he had just passed away as well. So rest in peace to him. But the one thing I talked about with his Orioles team was that they needed to get some frontline pitching. And what do they go out and do? They go out and trade for Corbin Burns, one of the best pitchers in the National League, to come out and be their ace on this team. And they have a lot of potential also in that pitching rotation, right? I know they are dealing with some injuries there, but I think they're not serious injuries for the Orioles in that pitching rotation when it comes to guys like Grayson Rodriguez. They're also missing, they're going to be missing Kyle Bradish. He's going to be missing some time as well, but I still think there's enough for this pitching rotation. I mean, we talk about this lineup. You have two guys that are in this lineup at 2 and 3 who are, I think, top 5 in the AL MVP conversation, or as far as betting odds go, in Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson. And oh, by the way, you still have Jackson Holiday that's in your minor league system. That's the number one prospect that could come up anytime for this Baltimore Orioles team. So I think this team is going to be on the cusp of possibly winning 100 games this season. I love the over 90.5. I like them to win the division. It's a chalk pick, but I just don't see a path. I mean, I see a path for other teams, but I think this team is primed and they're ready to go, and their fan base is really excited.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to keep riding the O's. Liked what I saw out of them last year. 90.5 feels a bit short, but the division price feels, to Malcolm's point earlier, plus 185. You know, give me the Rays here at a workings man price of 7-1. They're always kind of in it, and yeah, this. Just look at the win totals. This division always ends up being more competitive than you might think, considering you have teams like the Yankees who spend a ton, even though they've been dealing with a shit ton of injuries, can't figure it out. Another disappointing year on deck for the Yankees.
This is our year.
So I got the Rays for the division, Orioles for the win total. Kramer, what are you doing?
Sure, since you're backing the Orioles, you did a little research on the Carlyle Group, the private equity firm that bought the Orioles, and you know that they have 28 offices across 4 continents, 586 investment vehicles, and 2,200 professionals worldwide.
Are they a sponsor?
Dude, are they all focused on the Baltimore Orioles?
Well, they did hire Cal Ripken Jr. in the front office. So
small fish in a big pond. I don't like that for the Orioles at all. They're going to go back to sucking, like they've done most of their existence. And while I love the Rays is a very smart price because the Rays are always good. They come on. This is the Yankees have been building for this for. When's the last time the Yankees were good, Munaf? 15 years. They've been building for this since A-Rod left.
So what are you doing, Ryan?
Yankees
division. Okay.
No, I think the way to do it is take Yankees wins, Yankees division, and then sprinkle the Rays on a little insurance division play.
Yankees
you got all
division. Yankees 91.5 wins.
I will say, looking into this equity group, I'm gonna delete this from my history. I'm gonna start stepping away from the situation.
Yeah, Ryan. They're a private equity group. They get stuff done.
I don't know what they're gonna be getting done, but I don't think their core competency is baseball.
Kicking over to the AL Central, we got the Twins minus 115, Tigers plus 350, Guardians plus 350, Royals plus 850, and the Chicago White Sox 40-1.
Can I be an old man real quick?
Yes.
Guardians still not sinking in with me.
No, it's not working.
We got to. Is there something else we could do? Maybe another shift.
Even that's the Indians. Golly.
The baseball team.
I did see Noah in the chat saying Malcolm bath bombs Bamford.
No.
That kind of works on a number of levels because you do put the bath bombs in and you're dropping bombs. Home runs are called bombs.
No, that's the Malcolm and CJ show. Bath bombs.
Bath bombs. Malcolm bath bombs Bamford. What do you got for the AL Central?
I absolutely love this division from a betting point of view. Both the Centrals are all the fun because these are the two tightest races with the worst teams. Munaf's shaking his head, but he's right because it's the worst baseball.
Yeah,
but when we have a bet, and it's the best betting angle because all options are on the table. I like the Royals at 10-1. I don't know where Munaf pulled his lines from, but all of his lines are 2 points shorter than the lines I can get over here. So I'm taking 10-1 on the.
We can't cross international waters. Sorry.
Yeah,
like a true sharp. Mal's always getting the best price.
It makes me think we should have Malcolm be our interpreter.
Yeah. Well, and also if there's something you like and you can't find the good price, get it listed on Cut because I'm sure you can always find someone. Like if you list Malcolm your Royals to win the division at 10-1, and make it 11-1. I bet you can find someone that's gonna want to lay 1,100 to win 100 that the Royals won't win the division. So stuff like that you can get over on Cut.
And some other ideas for Cut because and shout out to DK for doing this, but I'm seeing new novel ideas out there like offering over unders for win totals in April. Yeah, I mean again I mean why wait till the end of the season when you can just focus on the next month? Certainly some interesting stuff. They're also like most wins markets. I don't know if we figured that kind of stuff out on Cup, but I'm tripping into some stuff I'm going to be betting on baseball right now.
So Mal, what do you like the AL Central because it's a bunch of shitty teams and some fun long shots?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the great things about peer-to-peer betting, like Cut, because we're a little bit more familiar with it over here, is the bigger price. If you're looking for a 10-1, you're right. You can get a 14 or a 16-1 shot about what the bookies would have at 10-1. If you're backing something at plus 110, you might be able to get plus 115. Not going to change your life. But if you back a 25, if you've got there's a 25-1 shot on the horses, you can get it at 50-1 on the peer-to-peer stuff. So Cut, if you're backing the bigger price stuff, Cut is exactly the place you want to be going to find the bigger price stuff. Yeah, I love the Royals. There's a absolute lack of competition here. So, like I say, it doesn't take much to swing the division. But I like the pitching rotation. They've got a lad called Cole Reagan's left-handed pitcher who I've backed to 80-1 to have the most strikeouts. I think he's already trading at 30-1 now. So his price is really contracted. And there's a lot of people talking about him for Cy Young and stuff. He was unhittable towards the back end of last season. And they've backed it up with just a couple of rock-steady veterans, Seth Lugo, Michael Wacker. One of Munaf's favourites is Brady Singer. But I think the Royals will be absolutely fine. And 10-1's a really good price. For my under, my total, this is what we were talking about, another cut prop Munaf, is that Munaf likes the Detroit Tigers to go over the total. But I'm just not buying it. Like, they've drawn quite a lot of smoke, Detroit. And I can kind of understand why. But I think they'll be better next year or the year after. It's all quite young and glamorous, and I'm not sure once you start picking at it if it's going to hold up over the course of a season. So better times ahead for Detroit, but I think people have bought into them maybe 1 year too early. So Royals to win it, Detroit under 79.5.
Munaf, perfect place to start there. Why is Malcolm the Bath Bomb Bamford wrong about the Detroit Tigers win total?
I think you kind of go back to a couple seasons ago where they started making changes to the front office, and a lot of Tigers fans that we've talked to, Noah Beanick being one of those fans, that they were pretty much fed up with his front office and they made changes. So I think that, number one, when you make that shift in the front office, that's going to start to translate to you with the players and on the field performance. But just take a look at their lineup, right? I mean, this team was one of the teams that had a lot of great prospects, and now they're going to be in that everyday lineup for this Detroit Tigers team. We talk about the Spencer Torkelson of the world. We saw Kerry Carpenter come on last season for this Tigers team. They signed a veteran, Mark Canha. You have Parker Meadows at the top of the lineup. Javier Baez, who was supposed to be their talent or their superstar player for this Tigers team, he's going to be batting in that bottom of that lineup and not being in the heart of the order that he's kind of been in his entire career, where he just strikes out a lot. He's going to be in that bottom of that lineup. And you talk about this pitching rotation, right? Tarek Skubal is a guy that myself and Malcolm were both high on a couple seasons ago before he was dealing with some injuries last season. He's back. You got a veteran in Kenton Maeda. Casey Mize was another player that we talked about that we were really high on. I think the one key guy that might round off this rotation, and I think will be the key piece for this rotation that they did sign, was Jack Flaherty, because he was a pitcher that was also dealing with a lot of injuries. And a couple seasons ago, he started off, I want to say 8-0, 9-0 before suffering a injury that kind of set him back, that spilled into last year as well. But I think this is a good bounce back here for him as well. And like Malcolm mentioned, right, the central divisions, whether it's AL and NL, I mean, you could probably, separate some of these teams by, a paper margin, because I'm not really sold on some of these other teams outside of the Detroit Tigers and the pick that I do have for this division. So I think this is a team that you take a look at last year that won, I believe, 78 games last year, if I'm not mistaken. If they can just be a little bit better on the road this season, I think that this Detroit Tigers team is primed to get over this number, because last year this team finished 78-84. They were at home, they were 37-44, 41-40. They were the only team in the division last year that had a winning record on the road last season. So if they can just be a little bit better at home, I think this team is primed to get over their win total of 79.5, 80.5 is a number that I like. I think it's a team that can win 83 to 84 games. As far as winning this division, I think it still goes to the Minnesota Twins because I feel like they're more balanced team. Whether you talk about their pitching rotation, you talk about their everyday lineup. The one downfall for this Twins team is Byron Buxton going to be able to stay healthy? Because we've seen over the past several seasons that he's just a guy that can't stay healthy. But when he is healthy, he's in that MVP conversation. Him and Carlos Correa are going to be the key. That if they're able to stay healthy, those two guys at that 2 and 3 lineup in their everyday lineup can really, again, make this Twins lineup go. And you talk about Royce Lewis, who came on in the playoffs last year. You still have Max Kepler. You brought in Carlos Santana, who is going to man that first base because that first base had a lot of errors. I think they led the league in the first base errors last year. Now you bring in a veteran like Carlos Santana to take that position for you. So I think the Twins are still the cream of the crop here in this division. But again, I do like the Tigers to have a breakout year.
So Twins to win the division at -115 and the Detroit Tigers over their win total. Ryan, we got to explain to these guys how to properly tout because Malcolm gave out the under at 79.5. Munaf gave out the over at 80.5.
No,
why don't we trade places, guys? Well, I'm gonna give Malcolm the under 80.5, and I'm gonna give Munaf the under 70.5. So you guys, come on, this is touting 101, guys.
I don't know what about that. I'm not about that life.
I'm not about that life.
Well, you just got to hire Malcolm as your interpreter. He's going to get you the best lines, best numbers, some free play. He's going to get a little kickback from the agent. That's how it works. Kramer, my plays, Royals 10-1. I'm going to ride with the bath bomb guy himself. I always like a long shot here.
Yeah, I'll join
in
you
a toss-up division, and then I'm going to go.
Why don't we take the Tigers too?
Tigers what?
Oh, I was going to say like we could take both teams to win the division. Just fade the Twins. I've been on the wrong side of I used to take the Twins all the time. Never worked out. But I learned one thing.
I'm going with the Guardians. 79.5 feels like hair low for the Guards.
I did a little bit of deep dive here. And let's see here. How did the Tigers lost? I'm looking at the balance statement here for the Tiger. I fell into a deep rabbit hole of finances. Did you know the Tigers lost money last year? How do you lose money if you're? I was going to come in with a pro Derek. We got to ride the Tigers. It's the year of the Michigan. It's the year of the Michigan team.
It really is.
Put us down for the Tigers, just so we'll bet Tigers to win the division out at Circa, and we'll tell Derek about it.
We'll go. Let's do Tigers win total over and Royals 10-1. I like that we take one play for Malcolm, one for Munaf.
No, yeah,
hedging our
fine.
bets.
That's fine. But I do think we should make that bet at the Circa and make sure we mention it in front of Derek.
Derek will appreciate that. Check out the VSiN show every Friday night, 9:00 East at VSiN.com, and make sure you check out Unified. That's right. Whether you're a world-class athlete or a broadcaster like myself, or both, because I'm a world-class athlete as well. Everyone understands the importance of mental and physical well-being, proper recovery for top-notch performance. I mean, you look at these baseball teams, especially baseball, like what's happened as far as recovery, pro performance in baseball. I mean, not too long ago, these guys were taking amphetamines in the locker room, and now they're dialed in, best nutrition, best everything, and really makes a difference. Again, that's why you see the teams that spend a bunch of money and aren't cheap bastards end up having better teams, better recovery, especially playing 162 games in baseball. That's a lot of back-to-backs. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of EE System yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here out in LA or hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. Interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifiedhealing.com/SGPN to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/SGPN. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare providers. with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE system. All right. Last of the ALs, we got the AL West. Astros -110, Rangers +230, Mariners +285, Angels 45-1, Oakland A's 250-1 to win the division. Don't let the A's get hot. Malcolm, remember when they won like 9 games in a row? Didn't they? They had a fun winning streak last year, didn't they?
I think we used to take them every day in the first 5 market. It became a bit of a show tradition that everyone would just, because they occasionally would get their nose in front at quite a big price, and then they would just implode every day and lose 12-4 or something. But they've got their nose in front quite a bit. But it was, as soon as we got the Oakland handicap, the entire chat would light up with Oakland first 5, Oakland first 5. Everyone was all over it. Yeah, division, they all get a bit chalky from here on in. And starting with Houston, I've got Houston here at +115. And they're just a little bit too good. It's competitive. It's a competitive division. I do like Seattle. I'm quite sweet on Seattle, and they will make an appearance later on. I do think Seattle to make the playoffs is like finding money in the street. That is -135. So if you've got funds that you can invest over the next 6 months on Seattle to make the playoffs, I would do that. But Houston have won. Munaf will be able to tell me how many years in a row have they won this division, Munaf?
They've won every single year since the 2017 season, except for one, which was a COVID shortened year where Sean's Oakland A's won it.
Let's go A's.
The lineup is deep. And I think this is the last year, if Houston being this strong, there's going to be a little bit of change upcoming. Alex Bregman walks at the end of the year. But it's hard to pick holes in them. +115 is a very, very fair price.
Yeah. So you like
you say chalky. I mean,
no, I mean I appreciate a good chalk.
Well, they still cheat, I assume, right? Is
Yeah.
that still a storyline?
So if you guys update, what are you banging on these days out in Houston? Recycling bins? Have you guys come up with a new little way to get the signals in, Munaf?
We're banging on our championship rings. I can't hear you from all the way over there in LA. What you're talking about, but.
That would be great. That would be great. In all seriousness, if Houston, the Astros had any sense of humor, they would hire Connor Stallions as like administrative representative or whatever. The guy who was stealing the signals for Michigan. That would be just whatever. Make him the IT guy. Just it would send shockwaves through the MLB world. Munaf, I assume you're on the Astros for the division as well.
Yeah. I mean, like Malcolm mentioned, and we would mention it since the 2017 season, they've won every single year except for the COVID shortened year, which the A's won. But again, when you have a team that's been to 6 straight American League Championship Series at minimum, they're returning pretty much the same roster. I know they have some pitching concerns with their starting rotation. Justin Verlander still dealing with a shoulder issue there. He may start on the season on the IL, but when we get to go home to Kate Upton every single night, I don't think that's that much of a.
You have to know when to come.
But again, like Malcolm mentioned, right, this is going to be one of the deepest rotation, or sorry, this batting lineup is going to be one of the best in the American League. I know a team in this division, the Texas Rangers, who won it last year, are also one of the better ones as well. But one player I'm really looking out for in this rotation, or sorry, this lineup is going to be Jose Abreu. He had a very, very slow start last year for the Astros. He's a former MVP. He's going to be at first base again. And I think that if he's able to pick up what he did in the latter half of the season last year for this Astros team, you talk about the Yordan Alvarez of the world, or Jose Altuve's, the Kyle Tuckers, the Alex Bregmans of the world, 1-7, 1-8. It's going to be really fun to watch this Astros team. And I think there's 3 key points here. I'll quickly go through them. I talked about on the MLB pod when we did the AL West preview for this Astros team. Is that number 1, they have a new manager, right? No more Dusty Baker. There were some questionable decisions that he made last year that really ruffled the feathers of some of the fans down here. So you have a new manager. You upgraded at the catcher position with Yainer Diaz, who's going to be a significant bat upgrade for this Astros team over Martin Maldonado. And they picked up Josh Hader, who's going to be closing out games for you this season in that closing at the closer position. So you have Ryan Presley in the 8th inning. You have Josh Hader in the 9th inning. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this team again. I think they're primed to make another run, at least in this division. if not at least to the American League Championship Series again. So I'm on the Astros here as well for the division and over their win total is one of my bigger bets of the year.
So so you're going Astros division winner and Astros wins. Do you have any other? You want to talk Angels under?
Yeah, and also another best bet that I do like is the Angels. They won 73 games last year with Ohtani, and so you did. And here's a stat nerds. You're gonna put the nerd draw up here.
Get it on.
WAR for Ohtani was through the roof, and now you're losing him, and now you're expecting them to be the same team that they were last year without Ohtani. And you had Anthony Rendon that came out and said, this is just a job for me. I don't look forward to playing baseball in so many words. And you're paying that guy about north of $200 million. Would I be surprised if they traded Mike Trout? No, he said that he wants to finish his career with the Angels, but if the opportunity comes, I think they may trade him as well. So with every other team that's better in this division between the Astros, the Mariners, and the Rangers, this is another team that you probably is going to suffer, like I talked about with the Red Sox. I'm on the under with the Angels, 72.5 wins this upcoming season.
Yeah, 73 wins last year. Ohtani's WAR was 6.6, which is pretty good if you're not familiar with it.
And pretty ironic. I heard Ohtani lost 2.5 million in casino WAR. He was a big casino WAR guy.
They get
Shout
you
out to one of our listeners. We were talking we were hanging out watching March Madness. He's like, "How often do you play Casino War?" I'm like, he's like, "Oh, they got me."
When we get to meet people, I really it makes me feel very old in the like world of gambling. Like, oh, you're so new to this. Your cherries being popped at a war table and
love it. All right, Ryan. Everyone's bad mouthing this Los Angeles Angels team. Well, they finally got rid of that deadweight Shohei Ohtani, and this is when things all come together for the Angels. 45-1 to win the division. I'm with
what?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long shot, but we see this all the time. You get rid of the star that everyone was in love with. That's when the things turn around for the team. Seattle Mariners, I'm with Malcolm, over 87.5. Feels too low. This is they're a quality team. Finished the second half of the season really strong. I think they get it done. Kramer, what are you doing?
If I'm not mistaken, got a nice sweat from them last year.
Yeah.
Which is all you're asking for, right? When you invest your money for 6 months, you just want a little bit of a sweat,
a little bit of action.
Astros win the division. I mean, why go against the cheaters? This is like betting on Belichick. You just got to go with the flow sometimes. Let's see. I will say, as a way to pay homage to the maybe our favorite XFL team, the Sea Dragons, I will also ride with you on the over. And a friend of the program who hung out with us all weekend out in Vegas, or I guess it was really during the week. Dean, big Mariners fan, was rocking the jersey all throughout the Westgate. I saw it as a sign, over 87.5. So I just basically copied.
Shout out to Dean and his son. That was a cool father-son trip. Just hanging out, grinding out March Madness bets. Brought his son. I wish my dad took me to March Madness.
What the fuck?
The hell?
Really changing my perspective on things.
All right, kicking it over to the NL East. Or actually, we'll start with the NL Central.
Whoa.
Cardinals plus 190. Or no, sorry, NL East. We'll start with Braves.
You weirdo.
Braves minus 240. Phillies plus 310, Mets 12-1, Marlins 17-1, Nats. Wow, the Nationals 100-1. Bath Bomb Bamford. What do you got here? What's your favorite division play and win total play?
Bath time.
That time.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from the Braves at all. Like I say, the further down this card we get, it gets a little bit chalkier towards the bottom. You can't pick a hole in the Braves lineup at all. It's really good and really deep. I think the Phillies are going to be better. Oh, well, they were good last year. I think the Phillies are going to take a step forward. So they will make a race of this. I think this will go into the second, third week of September. The Braves aren't going to be 15 games ahead, but there will be enough ahead. They're the sort of team, the Braves, where if you don't look at them on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they'll have knocked out 3 consecutive 10-1 victories. They're just going to keep churning away, and the Phillies are going to find it hard to keep up. But I think the Phillies will go well. In terms of finding a bet, I mean, you can't take. I will have the Braves to win the division. I won't be betting them, but in these divisions, the exacta play is a really nice bet because you've got the Braves who are double-digit games favourite over the Phillies, but then the Phillies are double-digit games ahead of the rest of it. The Mets are all over the place. The Marlins could genuinely stink the place out. They've unravelled in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I had kind of high hopes for the Marlins, and they've lost their 2 best pitchers, Braxton Garrett and Uri Perez. In fact, Edward Cabrera as well. So 3. We were talking to producer Josh before we started the show about the Marlins, and he thinks they could be historically bad. And then you've got the Nationals who aren't in it. So really, there's not many alternatives. That exact is plus 110, which is a really nice price. The only way it loses, I think, is if something drastic would have to happen, really drastic. So plus 110 on that. Like I said, the Braves will win, and the Phillies will run them quite close, maybe 4 or 5 games. Third place team will be 16 games back. So yeah, plus 110 on the Braves Phillies exacta for me.
Well, so I actually can get you a plus 140 on that, and if you did want. And if you they're not only offering exactas, Sean, they're also offering trifectas. So if you did want to gamble and slide the third team in there, for example, if you wanted to go Atlanta, Philly, Mets, that's plus 330.
What about Atlanta, Philly, Marlins, right?
That would be plus 340. I hate that, but I also, similar to these guys, heard Josh's take. So my play is actually Miami under.
Oh, okay.
I've heard nothing but how just dreadful this situation is, and hopefully this tip is better than the Virginia Tech to win the women's.
How are they doing?
Well, they got bounced in the first round.
No, right? Oh no.
Well, their best player had a torn ACL that we didn't know about, so there is that.
That'll happen. All right, I'm with you on the Miami under 78.5. Give me the Phillies to get it done plus 310. Although, honestly, they do seem like the team that always gets in second place in the division, then gets hot.
What if they get Trout? He's a Philly guy.
Oh, they don't. I mean, they're certainly in the mix of trying to get Mike Trout. I think the fact that Ohtani's gone makes that way more of a possibility. He's a big Eagles fan. I'm sure he'd love to play in Philly. Kramer, do you have a division play?
Oh, I like the exact idea. I actually before without Malcolm mentioning it. You know, I like to poke around in the deep, dark closets of these futures markets. And when I saw all these, I was like, oh, well, when you have chalk like that, a great way to bundle the chalk together. Just take the 1-2 of Atlanta, Philly. They don't offer a box solution, but I will take the plus 140 on the straight.
Yeah, I would like, I would like
so many bets.
The try box option would be pretty fun. All right.
Well, you could just bet all 6 permutations.
Yeah, that's true. But it's fun. It's more fun to have the option.
You don't like a handcrafted
artisanal
box?
I do. Build your own box. Munaf, what do you got here? Division winner, over under.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it quick. I agree with what you guys mentioned. I think the road goes to Atlanta Braves. I mean, they're just so stacked both on their batting lineup and their pitching rotation as well. The key if anything goes bad for the Braves, is that because they're dealing with a lot of injuries in their pitching rotation. But other than that, I just don't see I guess, like Malcolm says, a chink in the armor for this Atlanta Braves team. 100% agree about what you guys mentioned about the Marlins. Just this pitching rotation that was could have possibly been a top 3 rotation in the National League is just dealing with so many injuries. On the offensive side, it's Luis Ariz, and again, for that Marlins everyday lineup, they're not going to be able to produce runs. And when you have this many good teams in this division, I think the Marlins are the team that are going to be suffering a little bit. So make it a team ride here. Marlins under, and then Braves to win this division.
And worth shopping. Like you can find the Braves to win 100 games at like plus 100 in the same spot that's offering a 101.5 minus 1. So this is almost like Super Bowl rules. Make sure they have the same bet like 4 different ways
for futures. Yeah,
the jankier future stuff.
Well, especially for the high win totals, because they're a lot of them offer in the banded, like, will this team win 80? Will this team win 90? And so when it's close enough, there's a chance they're going to misprice those.
Moving over to the NOS, Dodgers minus 450 for the division. Padres 11-1, Giants 10-1, D-backs 10-1. The Colorado Rockies 200-1 to win the division. You guys all said I was crazy last year for taking the Rockies to win the division, but they started out pretty good. I got a Malcolm's trying to keep a straight face. Malcolm, there was like a 10-day stretch where they were in the division lead in like April or May.
I have a bet for you.
Yes.
If the Rockies have the most wins at the end of April, that will pay you 400 to 1, Sean.
Oh my God. All right.
Look how fast his fingers went to the left of the keyboard there.
They're the longest shot in the league. 400 to 1.
Okay.
Most wins by the end of April.
That's
a fun market.
I love that. I'm gonna look up what they were in April of last year. Bath Bomb Bamford. Who do you like to win the division? Is there anyone besides the Dodgers? The Dodgers are such a regular season juggernaut, and then they fuck it up in the playoffs. Can you talk me into anyone besides the Dodgers?
No, not really. But I don't think you have to, because for a start, the Dodgers, what, they 4-1 to win the World Series. When the playoffs start and they are in it, you can just back them to win every series and let it ride, and you'll get your 4-1 anyway. You don't need to invest that money. So you put a line through that. In baseball terms, they're absolutely bulletproof. The pitching looks really good. They've got a pitcher called Bobby Miller, who I think is I've backed him to win the Cy Young at 40 to 1. In fact, we're probably coming on to that in a little while, so I've gone a bit early there. But yeah, it's hard to pick. You
hear Malcolm went a little early. I mean
Malcolm,
You have to know when to come.
So again, you either go into the exacta market, and there is a better I like here. I like the Dodgers to beat the Padres. I think the Padres can follow them home. The Padres just need some average luck. Although it's kind of counterintuitive, because the Padres did lose their best hitter, they lost their best starter, and they lost their best bullpen arm. So they lost the best of everything, the Padres. But last year they went 9-23 in one-run games.
Yeah.
They went 2-12 in extras, which is virtually impossible. You couldn't do that if you tried. So if they can just win some close games, get their situational hitting correct, just be a little bit more clutch, all of a sudden they're back in the game. So I think they can follow the Dodgers home. That's a price of plus 260. But I absolutely love is I like the Giants under. I don't think the Giants are very good at all. You can back the Giants to finish exactly 4th in the division at plus 185, because the Rockies are gone. The Rockies are 25 games behind you, and the Giants aren't going to be near the other two teams, the Padres and the Diamondbacks. The other teams in this division just have to get there. Their aim is to get there, which is what the D-backs did last year. It's a different aim. So, yeah, Dodgers will run away with it, and it'll be fun to watch them on a daily basis. But, yeah, Padres to follow them home, Giants to finish exactly 4th, plus 185. And that'll with the Giants under, so I'll go the Giants under.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the Dodgers are 20 games win total above the Giants. For years, it was like they were neck and neck, and it felt like it was much closer, and they do struggle. It seems like with them head to head, but I don't know if you can play them at 10 to 1 to win the division. Munaf, what do you like?
I think that again, the road just goes through the Dodgers here. When you have 3 former MVPs on your team, I think this team is they're just loaded. At least during the regular season, we know they choke it away in the playoffs. But for the regular season, I mean, they're obviously a fantastic team. They just flipped the switch after the All-Star break as well. So Dodger, I think they will win the division. Rockies under for me. This division again, I think the Giants will be a little bit better. We just talked about the Dodgers at volume. The Padres should be better as well. And a team that is going to suffer in this division, unfortunately, is going to be the Colorado Rockies. I'm just not sold on their pitching rotation. And when you have these offensive teams that go into Colorado playing in the altitude, we see very high scoring games. And again, I think there's going to be an opportunity for some of these other opponents in the division just beat up on the Rockies again. So I think this is going to be a team that probably going to be in the range of 55 to 57 wins. Going back to last year, Sean, they had the 3rd worst record in April at 7-22, I believe. So,
yeah, I must have been thinking of some other time frame.
No, maybe we're thinking of the Pirates last year because they had the 2nd best record in April last year. They were 19-9.
I was also big on the Pirates last year.
Close.
Yeah, so
I like to take some long shots. I like to get spicy.
Yeah. So again, I'll go with the Rockies under 60.5 wins.
Kramer, what are you doing?
Yeah, one thing that's always interesting come baseball season is you pop over to Fangraphs and you look at their win distribution, and there's always a team or generally there's a team that stands out at the bottom and just way big time outlier. The Rockies are 3 wins removed from the second worst team. The Rockies are 9 wins removed from the 4th worst team. This is an extreme outlier bad team, and like Munaf was describing, they're going to operate in a situation where they're going to be winnable games for everyone in that division, even the bad teams in the division. I like the idea of fading this team, the Rockies. I'm also, again, shop this around, but should we put out a mega whale? What are the chances the Dodgers don't win 100 games? Is that a risk?
I mean, their win total's at 103.5. That's crazy.
You know what? That's a risk. Let's just go with the Padres.
Padres to win the division.
We'll take the Padres, a little long shot sprinkle. Decker's high on them.
All right, I'm with you.
I don't actually know that to be true, but I'm assuming
I do like the Padres over 83.5 to Bath Bomb's point. I mean, you watch. I just know from Decker like how many 1-score games they lost, how many games they lost in extra innings. It was comical. Like they're due for some regression, and maybe the Shohei thing becomes a little. I don't know. The Dodgers are probably going to win it, but I'll sprinkle on the division with the Padres, and definitely like the Padres over 83.5 because I think they can beat up on the Giants, the D-backs, the Rockies, and they can hang enough with the Dodgers. So I'm all in on the Padres this season.
And if you want to get cute with like ladder type stuff, you can play like a lower win band, like 51 or fewer for the Rockies is plus 320.
Oh,
you can also bet a worst record in baseball for the Rockies is plus 420. So I don't know which one you like more. 51. I almost like just play the worst record angle, I guess.
And I'm also going to be on Rockies most wins by the end of April at 400 to 1.
We just had this long conversation.
I know, and I understand why it's a bad bet, but
don't drink and drive. I had to get home.
Take my keys from me, Ryan. I dare you. Like the great Reese Davis says, it's a risk-free investment. Hey. You guys signed up with Underdog Fantasy yet? What are you waiting for? Perfect for adding a little spice in baseball. I mean, baseball is a grind day in, day out. Tons of games, tons of action, tons of opportunity to get over on Underdog Fantasy. I feel like Underdog was really built for baseball because, again, so many stats, so many fantasy projections, and baseball being super math based. You go out there, you start grinding the Underdog projections, you can really find some good value here. Head over to underdogfantasy.com, use the promo code SGPN, get higher or lower. Perfect for opening day, or they also have season long stuff. I'm pretty sure. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN, 100% deposit match up to $100. Munaf, do you know Underdog has MLB futures stuff, correct?
Absolutely.
Let's go. Yes. I
see they usually label it capital SZN.
And they have
yes.
Not only do they have oh, you're right, the season stuff's down there. They have the MLB season stuff, and then they also have combos, MLB combos.
It's very progressive.
Yeah, it's so look at Detmers and Stone, a half first inning runs allowed. You can take higher or lower. So some places offer this as no run first inning, yes run first inning. You can actually do entries with underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN, and get down on this similar market over there. Last division, and then we'll talk a little MVP World Series. NL Central, we got the St. Louis Cardinals plus 190, Cubs plus 185, Reds plus 350, Brewers plus 750, Pittsburgh Pirates all the way down to 12 to 1. What say you, Bath Bomb? Who do you like this year?
This is my favorite division for a bet because the favorites, the St. Louis Cardinals, are going to be the worst team in the division. That is
wow.
What I bet them to finish 5th already at 16 to 1, which I think now is into a little bit of 10 to 1. They signed Sonny Gray, who's all right. We like him. He unbuttons quite a lot of his shirt, which I'm a fan of. he's already injured, and the rest of the rotations, like the Golden Girls, honestly, it's like the cast of Cocoon. Like, it's horrendous. They're unraveling really, really quickly. The Cardinals are doing it wrong. Like, baseball's moved on. The world moves on at a pace. The Cardinals are getting everything wrong. This is going to go really, really tits up. Which leaves you the Cubs. I like the Cubs at plus 210. It's just, there's 3 really fun teams. And yeah, Cincinnati are fun. We're like teams with fun players. Cincinnati got tons, and Encarnacion Strand, and Cruz, Matt McLean, 40s, and did Spencer Sear. They've got loads of really fun players in Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo. They're going to be a fun watch. Pittsburgh are going to be a fun watch as well. They've got loads of good players. The Brewers, Ryan, you said earlier on you wanted a sort of a daily bet. The Brewers are going to go over every day. They've got a really nice attacking lineup. They're going to run like hell. It's going to be mayhem on the base bats, but they can't pitch. They're going to lead the league in getting beat 8-6 every day. That's what they're going to lead the league in. So every day, just get involved in the Brewers overs. I see TV DBJ's in the chat. He can vouch for me there. So the Cubs, I think, will win the division. They've just got enough quality. They've got our man Justin Steele. I'm sure Sean's going to bring him up in a little minute. Plus 210 for the Cubs. Cincinnati to make the playoffs at plus 145 and get the house on the Cardinals to go under the total.
Hard to argue with either of those. Munaf, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm on the Cubs here to win the division as well. I think they're primed for this division. I think it's a little bit more wide open than it has been in the past. We talk about, the Brewers and the Cardinals. I think both those teams take a step back. And for the Cubs team, they made the managerial change. They brought over the Brewers' previous manager, Craig Counsell, as their new manager. I think Seiya Suzuki takes the next step. They have a lot of young talent in that everyday lineup. And you talk about their rotation. I think that might be the detriment of this team. But we still have our guy, Justin Steele, there as well for this Cubs rotation at the top of the rotation. And also they signed Shohei Ohtani. I picked him as Rookie of the Year this upcoming year for this for the National League at least. So I think that he could be a good part of this rotation here as well. So I think this Cubs team is ready to go. I think that they'll have a great year. I like them to win this division. And I took the Brewers under for a lot of the reasons that Malcolm did mention. Again, we talked about how they lost Corbin Burns. They added some pop to this to the everyday lineup where they should be able to score runs here. But again, their projected pitching rotation is what really makes me nervous. You have Freddie Peralta. I think he's a good bet to lead the league in strikeouts. But again, he's always been injured over the past couple seasons. Colin Ray in that 2 spot. I'm just not very high on this rotation. So I think they take a step back here as well. So I like the under 77.5 on the Brewers win total as my best bet, and then the Cubs to win this division for the upcoming season for the NL Central.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal your guys' play. Give me the Cubs to win the division. Almost pulled it out last year, a few games back from the Brew Crew. And of course we got our boy Justin Steele slinging it. Oh, yeah. Almost cashed a 200 to 1 to win the Cy Young. That would have been legendary.
I would have retired if that would have won.
I know. Stay tuned. Still a good price on Justin Steele. He had a great year. And I think the Cubs are actually in a place where they have some young talent, continue to improve. You mentioned Suzuki. I think he's a nice second year. But again, at the price, plus 210, really like it. And then I'll go back to the Pirates. Over 75.5. They won 76 last year. I don't know. I don't see them being that bad that they're going to drop. I think they're going to be able to compete in the division. 75.5 feels very, very doable.
Russ and Justin Fields going to the game together. That's got to add to the Pirates experience. Did you see Russ at the Pittsburgh?
Oh yeah, it's gonna change.
He's gonna. I mean, his sports fandom of the Pirates alone is worth 2 wins. Obviously,
TV DBJ in the chat saying Justin Steele wasn't 200 to 1.
What?
I'm almost positive he was. Ryan, can you pull up the?
No, he's saying that he had Blake Snell to win it, but it wasn't quite 200 to 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I misread that. Sorry.
How dare you? How dare you?
Well, shout out to Blake Snell. Kramer, what do you
Well,
got?
obviously we're on the Cubs, a system play, and I like the way Malcolm's talking about these last place markets. I'll have to go find that, but in the meantime, Cardinals under.
Cardinals under 84.5 for Ryan there, and the Cubs plus 210.
Malcolm, that was a 16-1 that you had for them to finish in last place.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
I'll have a look live. It was 10-1 the last time I checked. Yeah, I think I snapped up all the 16-1. Unfortunately,
you are
right.
so
And
sharp.
Malcolm's moving them.
Yeah,
So
I
sharp.
absolutely. It's a miracle I haven't cut myself. But
Put
yeah,
that.
I think
Put him in a sheath.
there's a 10-1 somewhere. Let me have a look.
All right, kicking over to the Cy Young Award. Obviously, I'm going to be all over Justin Steele in the NL. Currently at 20-1, still a great price. Feels a lot of fun. If we're going to be riding with the Cubs, you got to take a little action on Justin Steele there, 20-1. And I know he's coming off injury, but the reports I'm reading was that he was already throwing batting practice, basically up to full speed. He was his fastball was almost as good as normal. I think there's a fun story to be had with Justin Verlander on the comeback trail with a very good Astros regular season team. He's 75-1. I understand he's older. He's coming back from injury. That's why you got crazy odds, but him finding himself into decent form and having a really good season and maybe getting this as a narrative based award, I think is certainly in the realm of possibility. And 75-1, I think is pretty fun. How say you, Bath Bomb Bamford? What do you like for the Cy Young market?
My two Cy Young picks are quite a decent price, actually. My MVPs are a little bit chalkier, but I am high on the Mariners this year, and they've got three names at the top of the rotation.
Yeah,
that are very, very similar. So I'll take the biggest price one of the three. I just think he's too big a price. That's Logan Gilbert. Luis Castillo, maybe Munaf might bring him up, actually. I know Munaf's quite sweet on Luis Castillo. He is their stud. But Logan Gilbert is good as George Kirby, and he's twice the price as him. So I think he'll go well. And I did mention earlier on for the NL Cy Young, I like Bobby Miller on the Dodgers. Was good last year. The only thing with him is he'd have to stay fit because he throws 100 mile an hour, and people who throw 100 mile an hour aren't often doing that for longevity. So whether or not we get 150 innings out of him, I don't know. But if we can get up to somewhere approaching that, Bobby Miller's live. So 40-1 Bobby Miller, 30-1 Logan Gilbert, please.
ooh, I like that.
Appreciate them.
Both 30-1 plus.
Manners there.
Munaf, how say you? What do we like in the Cy Young?
Yeah, Justin Steele, 20-1.
go.
You mentioned it that he was dealing with some type of injury, but he's going to be. I think he should be ready to go by opening day. But for everything that I've seen in spring training, he's looked really good. So I do, and it does say he's going to be unclear for opening day. It was a knee injury, but he should be ready to go for opening day for the Cubs. So I'd like that at 20-1. And like Mal mentioned, American League, I like Luis Castillo. He's just consistent, man. And I know that last season was his first year in Seattle. You know, getting used to American League ballparks. He still had one of his better years last year, 13-9, 3.34 ERA, close to 200 innings last year, pitched 197 innings, did have over 200 strikeouts last season. So I think this is a good year for him to be in that conversation for Cy Young, which I feel like is a little bit more open now, right? With the injury to Garrett Cole that will sideline him for at least 2 months. So Luis Castillo for me, 10-1, and Justin Steele at 20-1.
Kramer?
What, you guys don't want to take Garrett Cole, aka the winner? I'm pushing all the chips to the middle of the table. Justin Steele's the obvious play.
Yes. And then you like Garrett Cole in the AL?
Obviously.
Because he plays for your Yankees.
I'm a big Yankees fan, as everyone knows. I'm back in now that the Red Sox suck again. I feel
it's more interesting.
We'll see. We'll see how long. What's the over under on days I last as a Yankees fan?
Oh, I mean, last year
I got the package. I'm going to listen to the radio broadcast.
It was you couldn't have written a funnier script of Ryan. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna get in on baseball. I'm gonna try these Nerfy bets. Opening day, first game. Kramer goes big on Nerfy, and it's opening a shot, a home run, like not even close to being inside the ballpark.
I did both teams no run first inning, and then I did total game no run first inning. And both teams ended up scoring, but like the first team scored 4 runs before they recorded an out, maybe. So maybe I'll do that again. Maybe that's the move.
Maybe it's a yes runs first inning. Ryan, the Yerfie.
No, I like no. I'm more of an under guy.
All right, kicking it over to the MVP market. Very interesting there. Bath Bomb, you're up first. What do you like? AL, NL, MVP.
AL MVP, I will take Julio Rodriguez at 12-1. He just got all the attributes, and a little bit of stardust as well, which can't harm his case at all. On the Mariners, who I do think are going to make a deep run. And for my NL MVP, there's not an awful lot of obvious competition for Ronald Acuna Jr. At 5-1, and for a chalky play, 5-1's all right. 5-1's a workable price. You could maybe even get him in some parlays. But there just wasn't too much competition, really. Not of the caliber that Ronald Acuna is. He just gets better and better and better. He was outstanding. That Braves lineup, we're going to keep him very much in the spotlight. And he'll be the leader of that team. So yeah, I'll take Acuna at 5-1 and J-Rod at 12-1.
It's a great price over the pond for the J-Rod price.
Ooh,
Yeah, that number has really moved. It was I got some 10-1 as well. That's down as low as 6-1.
Oh, spicy. Hey, you guys want some CLV? You got to check out the MLB gambling podcast.
Munaf, what do you got? AL, NL, MVP.
Yeah, AL, I'm going to go with the hometown guy here in Kyle Tucker. I think that this is another season where he can take another step forward. I mean, he's been very consistent over the last 3 seasons for the Astros. He's batted 284 last year. A couple of seasons ago, he's at 294. Last 3 seasons, he's at least 29 home runs. So I think that he can get over that 30 home run mark in this batting order for the Astros. He's had back-to-back seasons of 100 plus RBIs. So I think he's primed here at 17-1. I do like Kyle Tucker here. Did also grab some J-Rod at 10-1 as well. And then for the NL, I'm gonna go with Bryce Harper. He's been very consistent for the Phillies. He's a guy that can hit 40 plus home runs. We've seen him win MVP before. I just didn't like a lot of chalk at the top. I mean, like Mal mentioned, Ronald Acuna is a guy that he can walk into 50 home runs himself if he really wanted to. But I think, for Bryce Harper, the key thing is for him is going to be health. He hasn't been able to play more than 140 plus games since the 2019 season. He had 2021, he played 141, but I mean, this is a guy we know, and Sean, he could hit the ball off of the cover.
Let's fucking go.
A guy that can get 40 plus home runs, 100 plus RBIs easily. So Bryce Harper at 10-1 is another NL bet that I do like for MVP.
I'm with you. Bryce Harper 10-1, great price. Not going to find a better price out there. And for the AL MVP, Mike Trout 20-1. I mean, when the Angels win the division and shock the world at 45-1, it's going to be because Mike Trout is having a good year. Now that they got deadweight Ohtani out of there, they anchor. I mean, a guy lost $4.5 million. He's got to be negative energy in the clubhouse. I mean, think about when
you think so.
Yeah,
he doesn't
when you
care.
He's
a happy guy.
$4.5 million. Everyone cares when it's $4.5 million. Why do you think this interpreter is getting fired? He was giving him the wrong tips. That's really probably the story that's going to come out. Really? He signed up for the interpreter's mega whale package.
He got limited,
and yeah, he was playing Vegas Dave's best bets. That would be great if we find out one of these that Ohtani was signed up for like a premium pick service. That's really my dream.
Oh, he probably almost certainly was. If you're betting $4.5 million, you probably got some people helping you. Maybe
Kramer, what are you doing?
So on the AL side correct me if I'm wrong. Juan Soto is going to play in front. He's going to bat in front of Aaron Judge.
I think he's batting behind him, but let me just double check.
Interesting. Okay.
Give me a second here.
Either way, Sean, let's put this together. He's 25. He's in a contract year, and he's playing in Yankee Stadium, and he's got a lineup protection. I'll just leave it at that. Even if he's
going to be in front of Judge.
In front of Judge. Oh boy, that seems like a good thing. So I'm going to eat chalk with Juan Soto, and then if you're not betting on Acuna, you're saying he gets hurt, right? Basically,
I mean, it's a possibility that he does get hurt, but again, for what he did last year, it might be hard for him to repeat what he did. And
that's true. So he'll get that treatment of like, oh, that's not as good as last year. And
yeah, and then he has teammates in the lineup that I can also be in that conversation for MVP as well.
That's the same for Soto. All right, but I'll go with Ohtani. We'll ride with the gambler. I think if we make Shohei some sort of cult hero for the gambler, we can do this as a people.
We can do this. He
doesn't have to focus on pitching
or his gambling. But
in a serious note,
he won't be distracted.
He was pitching last year.
Yeah. Does that help you or hurt you?
It's something else to think about. I mean, regular
you're
pitchers.
In the rhythm of the game. I mean,
Sean,
part of baseball is that it's really you're bored as hell out there. So if you're throwing as well,
but imagine,
if you're throwing as well, you're engaged in the game.
He doesn't have to practice regular pitching. There's guys that only practice regular pitching. Now he can just practice lifting weights and hitting. And better.
Chicks dig the long ball. It'd be funny if he comes out like Mark McGuire, like anabolic steroids, just to get people off the gambling scent. Danny, Finns fan, looks like he's a Dolphins fan. Who's y'all home run leader?
Oh wow.
We'll give that to the pros here. Malcolm, how say you? You got any thoughts on home run leader this year?
Oh yeah, Jake Berger, 200-1. Bosch.
Whoa.
In and out, no problem.
Oh my God.
I like that.
Why do we like Jake Berger?
He's just big and fat and he hits it miles. It's great.
Yes.
That's the handicap.
Eddie's 200-1.
Jake Berger.
Say less, King. I'm all in. Jake Berger. He's big. He's fat, and he hits it for miles.
Get that on a graphic.
And he's 200-1.
Get that on a graphic.
Love it.
Oh, how am I supposed to follow that up? I like O'Neal Cruz 35-1. He's been ripping the cover off of the baseball during spring training. I think this is a guy that's primed to break out this year. And O'Neal Cruz at 35-1. Didn't really want to go with the chalk. I mean, that's always not fun. But yeah, I think that O'Neal Cruz 35-1. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll give you that one. There's nothing else that I really like as far as maybe Lewis Roberts 55-1. I think that's another one that's very intriguing as well. So O'Neal Cruz 35-1, Lewis Roberts Jr. 55-1.
Oh, I'm gonna have to send a couple emails about this Jake Berger.
Jake Berger,
get this listed here.
34 home runs last year, 34 home runs the year before. What do you think you need to get to win it all? Like high 40s?
You'll need a 50 plus.
50?
Do you think? That's all right. He can. He'll take a step forward, Big Jake. Be all right.
I think
Cody Bellinger as well. Back on the Cubs. Cody Bellinger's done it before, I think. And he's still trading at 100-1, and he's very live. So yeah, split stakes between Bellinger and Berger.
Love it. All right, we're gonna give out our World Series prediction. Before we do that, sign up over at HOFBets.com, aka Hall of Fame Bets. This is the tool you need for baseball season. Optimize some parlays. If you're getting down on some same game parlays, Hall of Fame Bets is really what you need to use here. Of course, they got you covered for college basketball, for March Madness, NBA, and baseball season right around the corner. We'll be going live with their baseball product as well. If you haven't signed up, it is great for researching props. Hit that deep data button, deep stats. You can really get lost in there in a good way. They save you a ton of time. HOFBets.com or download the Hall of Fame Bets app. Use the promo code SGPN. Get 50% off your first month. Okay. The big reveal, World Series winners. Malcolm, Bathbaum, Bamford, how say you? Who do you got winning it all?
I've hinted at it a few times. I like Seattle. I just think the pitching runs really deep. I mentioned those three men at the top of the Cy Young market. And then you had Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, and they're good pitchers. There's not many teams that can roll that deep. So they will absolutely stay in it. And all they have to do is get in. We've seen that over the last couple of years. Just like the Diamondbacks and the Rangers did, the Mariners will get in. 20-1 they are to win the World Series. And I've got them beating the Cubs. The Cubs are at 33-1, with the exacta at 250-1. Yeah, so I'll take Seattle to overturn the Cubbies, 250-1 for that, please.
That's
like
it.
That.
That's a great price.
Munaf, how say you?
Yeah, I want to be a little more chalky here. I mean, I'm going to go with the hometown team, the Astros. Again, they've been to at least 6 straight ALCS championships at minimum. I like the moves that they made, right? They added to the bullpen. They got a new manager. You have Yonder Diaz as your full-time catcher now, and they have that playoff experience. So I think they'll be back again in the World Series. So I'll take them over the Atlanta Braves. I mean, it's chalky, but Atlanta Braves, I think they're they added to the pitching rotation. They got some depth. We know what this everyday lineup can do. When the Dodgers get to the postseason, they get shrinkage. So that always happens to them every single year. Wouldn't be surprised if Phillies got there again as well, Sean, because they're a team that always they make a run.
Let's go.
Once they get in there, they can flip the switch. But I do have the Astros over the Braves this upcoming season.
Astros over the Braves.
Wow, that's pretty chalky. That's about as chalky as you get.
Wait till you hear his Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
Astros
Now 25 minutes, Munaf, to listen to you give that out.
28.
I give out winners.
Caleb Williams, first pick overall. Munaf said, "Lock it in. Great investment."
Well, this is, in fairness, this is
Risk-free.
28-1.
I am going with, of course. I'm
You gonna run it back?
Cubs, Phillies. I might. Malcolm really made a case for the Seattle Mariners, so I like them. But I like the Phillies beating the Mariners in the World Series. Phils over the Mariners. Get it done. Kramer, what do you got?
Well, I let's have fun. We'll have the Yankees making it to the World Series, playing the Phillies and beating them 80-1.
Oh no.
That'd be fun.
Be great for content, Ryan.
Imagine us. How annoying would baseball happening during football season?
I think they are doing it this year.
80-1.
They're gonna go head to head.
80-1.
No, the World Series is fun. Playoff baseball is fun, and so is subscribing to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Guys, get you ready for all the games. Picking every game against the spread. Keep you entertained.
Well, you just get to listen to Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm, amazing accent. His internet's working really well. Shout out to him and the improved sound quality. He's become a tech whiz, right? In these past couple of years, he's editing videos. He's really his stock is on the rise, right?
Yeah, he's crushing it.
Yes, smash for.
He's on the 40 under 40 list.
Yes, for our
40 over 40.
40 over 40 list for our organization. Munaf, keep up the good work on the MLB Gambling Podcast. Of course, the Propcast. Of course, the NBA Gambling Podcast. Plenty of chances to get down and check out the shows. Download the SGPN app. Great for MLB picks. They will be up early and often in the app on the MLB picks page. It's time for baseball.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
Baseball.
Kramer, let it ride.